to Frank Dreischarf. Did I get that right, Frank? I was going in like full speed, and I'm like, wait a second. VP of Supply Chain Solutions at R2 Logistics. Frank, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. And yes, you actually got that right. That's you're one of the few.
I told you.
No, you were saying it was Dre, and I was saying Dry.
No. I said it's Dry because it's the second letter in German that you pronounce. It is.
There you go.
It is. If it was IE, it would have been Dreischarf.
Well, you two will get along because you're both Ohio State alumni.
I know, and I was looking this up. You are a hardened Buckeye, too, because you lived during the Cooper era where 3 times we walked into Michigan and got beat as potential national champions. Tough days.
First off, it's the Ohio State University.
It is. Amen.
And yes, I was there for most of the 2-10-1 era. So that was a little.
Yeah, but you were also there for Eddie George, Orlando Pace, and Mike Vrabel.
Absolutely, which good times.
Yeah, man.
Well, let's talk about it. Let's get into a little bit of reverse logistics. What is reverse logistics, and how does it impact the supply chain?
Sure, absolutely. So simply put, reverse logistics is the movement of finished goods or work in progress goods back to the point of distribution or manufacture. So if you think about the traditional supply chain, you have raw material going into a manufacturing plant into DC, and then DC to the end customer. When something is broke, defective, oversold, or needs to be returned, it's the push of that product back up the supply chain. So if you think of a traditional supply chain, it really flows in one direction, kind of like a river. And then reverse logistics is moving product back against the current of that river back to the point of manufacture or distribution.
So, Frank, tell me, how are most shippers handling reverse logistics these days?
Yeah, so there are some nuances with reverse logistics that cause some unique problems inside of the supply chain. Most specifically is getting that product back into the inventory system of the original manufacturing plant or distribution location. So what happens is for ease of use, most small, mid, and even large shippers utilize, one LTL provider or one overall provider in order to bring that product back into their manufacturing plants, primarily because they need to track what's called an RA number or an RMA number, which is a return authorization number, in order to get that product back into their inventory system so that they can account for it. And unfortunately, that number is not material to most carriers. It's not material to truckload shippers. It's not material to LTL shippers. So usually a small or mid-size or even a large shipper will utilize just one provider for ease of use.
Hey, Frank, I have a question for you. How does R2 handle the reverse logistics, and how is it beneficial to shippers?
So inside of our system, we have a proprietary TMS system that we utilize. We capture that RA or RMA number first and foremost, right at the initiation of the shipment. What that allows us to do is then find the lowest cost provider in order to affect that shipment. You shouldn't be paying a premium in order to ship back broken or defective or returned product. There's no reason to pay a premium for that. So by capturing the RMA number inside of our system, we're able to, 1, help our customers account for that product, and 2, find them the lowest cost solution in order to bring that product back.
Now, Frank, in a past life, I used to work for a 4PL, and we would do routing optimization and things like that. And one thing you notice if you do that is there's a lot of waste in the supply chain, either it be from routing or from even how partials and how loads are booked. There's a ton of waste. And I imagine you see a lot of that over at R2. How do we eliminate some of the waste in supply chain, and what are some of those inefficiencies that you see?
Sure. So one of the biggest, areas of waste that we see just stems from overall either a misunderstanding of how transportation platforms work or just ignorance to the overall supply chain in totality. So what I mean by that is a lot of the costs that a shipper will incur tend to be hidden from them. They show up in the form of accessorials that are unplanned, whether that be detention charges, appointment scheduling charges, incorrect weights or NMSC or freight class numbers and those sorts of things. And what we do is through our platform, we capture all those different accessorials so that we can shine a really bright light on the areas where a shipper might be a little bit deficient, where they're spending money that they shouldn't be, where their unplanned accessorials are, so that we can get to the root cause and then solve those problems, at the front end, rather than just having to continue to pay those charges on the back end.
Yeah, so Frank, I see the value in this, obviously, for a large, enterprise type of shipper. But those smaller shippers that are out there, is this beneficial to them?
Absolutely. The problem that small and even some mid-sized shippers have is really they're just resource constrained. They don't have either the mass or the size or the spend to allow them to have a fully professionally managed transportation group keeping an eye on their transportation dollars. So what we do is, in effect, we function as their back office, as their logistics group, their transportation planning team, in order to help them reduce their overall costs. In effect, giving them the benefit of being a large shipper while having the mass and scale that they have.
Hey, Frank, how does the R2 make shippers more efficient? How does that work?
Sure, a couple of things there. Well, number one, we bring the benefit of technology, some reporting tools, actually a large suite of reporting tools that provides information that allows shippers to make decisions in a faster and more efficient manner, whether that be choosing the right mode, the right carrier, the right service level in order to affect a shipment, while also at the same time understanding what the lowest cost option was for each and every shipment that occurs inside of their network. So for whatever reason, a shipper may decide to use carrier A that has a 2-day transit time when they could have used carrier B at, say, a 30% discount for a 3-day transit time. And we show all of those various options so that a shipper can choose the right profile, the right service level, and the right carrier to affect their shipment.
Well, Frank, we'd like to thank you for answering all of our good questions today. Now, before we let you go, you have to answer our stupid question. And now our stupid question of the day is, you've stepped into mutagen ooze. What animal do you think you'd mutate to?
Boy, that's a good one. I guess I'm going to go with an eagle, because America.
Nice.
There you go. I love it, man.
America. Sweet. Frank, we love it. How do people go and connect with Mr. America, the Eagle, the Mutant Eagle, and R2?
Please go to r2logistics.com. We'd love to hear from you.
Thank you. Happy Father's Day and have a great weekend.
Hey, go Buckeyes, brother.
Thank you. You too.
Take it easy.